समटाइम्स बोलते हैं ना कि हाँ चीजों के बारे में तुम्हें थोड़े थोड़े से साइंस आते हैं, वो पढ़ना सीखो. I have clearly not done that. Hey guys, welcome back to Durva's Reading Room. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the most popular book that I hate the most. Yes, it's The Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I am personally a fan of Ali Hazelwood. I really like her work. I do follow her style, and I started reading her books in the lockdown during the COVID period. I genuinely enjoy her writing style. It is very smooth, it is enriching, it is very engaging, and her books have this quality of keeping you hooked. Now, as you all guys already know, and people who have watched my earlier videos, you already have an idea that I am a sucker for romance. I love reading romantic novels. So I got introduced to Ali Hazelwood during the COVID period, and I ended up just reading. So I was accidentally delivered a wrong book through Amazon, and I read that book, and I was like, oh wow, this it's a very nice book, and that's how I ended up ordering all of her other books. So recently, I ordered this book, and I was okay. So the reason why I ended up buying this book was again because I wanted to complete the collection. I wanted to read all the books of the specific author. So what I do is when I like a person's writing style, when I feel that I resonate with the characters, when I feel that this book connects with me and I enjoy reading those books, I end up buying all the books of that specific author, and that's what I did with this book. So earlier, all the other books that Ali Hazelwood has written, I really love them. I enjoy them. They are books that you can, just like sit and enjoy, very free flowing. And you can just like it passes your time like anything. Okay, like you don't even realize. I remember there was one incident when I was reading this book, and I think started reading very late at night, probably around at 12:30 or something, and I couldn't keep the book down. I ended up reading the entire book, and I was awake till the morning. So technically I was actually awake till the sunrise. I didn't end up sleeping that night at all because of the book, because it was so engaging and I really wanted to know what's happening with the characters. A lot of the characters are very relatable. Then you feel some sort of like this character, like you feel ki ha ye jo character hai na, you will find people around you of those those traits and all. So in that sense, I generally enjoy her, books and all. It's something that it's my go-to read whenever I feel upset or whenever I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling myself. I usually romance novels are my like an escape kind of novels. So romance, thriller, even murder mystery or something like even humor based novels. These books are usually my escape from the negative thoughts probably I'm dealing with. So that's what happened. She is a STEM author, and for me, who comes from an academic background, I find it relatable. A lot of the characters, a lot of the situations, the way you're dealing with certain situations, I could find it very relatable because it's not necessary that I've been in a similar situation earlier, but I could understand. I could just think, ki, if this situation had happened with me, probably I would have ended up behaving the same way, or my reactions would have been very much similar to the character that the book has. So that's what happened. In that way, I could really relate with the book and the character. Now, I had a very good expectation. Okay, so there were certain mistakes that I did with this book. I did not read the name of the book properly. I was just like, हाँ ठीक है वो एली हजल को book है तो order कर लेते हैं, and that's what I did. That was my first mistake. Second, I should have judged the book by its cover. I mean, I know we always say that you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I should have done that. Why I didn't do it? And I was like, I should have, but I regretted it. So when I started reading this book, for quite some time, I couldn't understand what's happening. I kept zoning out of the book so frequently that I was again going back to the pages and I was trying to understand what's happening. So in this book, what happened with me was it took me some time to understand what's happening in the book. Second thing, the genre that this book deals with I'm not really a fan of that genre. Okay, it's a very adult fiction, adult romance kind of a book, which again I failed to understand. I should have understood it by the book name of the book and the cover of the book itself. But me being me, I completely ignore those sides. Sometimes बोलते हैं ना कि हाँ चीजों के बारे में तुम्हें थोड़े थोड़े से साइंस आते हैं, वो पढ़ना सीखो. I have clearly not learned that. I realized that the book is extremely slow. Okay, and I felt that the pace of the book was very it was very slow, and it was probably a slow burn kind of a book. I really don't know. I couldn't really judge by the end of the book that what's really happening and why. Really wanted to understand why people are even liking this. But it's okay. I think somewhere down the line, it's probably the genre that I do not like, or I do not really enjoy reading. This is specifically an adult romance kind of an area that she has dealt with, and I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not really very good with that area at all. I don't really enjoy that kind of books, and agree to the fact that it's usually fun reading spice in the books. But with this book, I felt there was so much of unnecessary spice, and it was just spice. I mean, I felt it was clearly a lack of story. Then, where I felt that the lack of development in the characters as well. There were certain areas which I felt like they were good, and I will share the good and bad aspects of the book as well. But in general, my overall experience was not really great. So I think this is the longest time I have ever taken to read a book, because I think I kept reading this book for like 2 or 3 months or something, and that has been the longest for me, especially when it comes to fiction. I am not someone who usually takes so much of time to read a book. If I'm reading a book, I usually end up completing that book, or reading the entire book within max 3 4 days. And this is like 2 to 3 months. That's like such a huge gap. So the problem is that I am someone who is, if I end up picking up a book, then I have to complete it. I have that issue. So even if I don't like the book, I will still read it because I had picked it up. Again, no aspect of like, I'm not scared, or I'm not scared of the judgment that अभी ये पढ़ना है ऐसा करके सबको जाके बोल सको यार मैंने ये book पढ़ी है and all. I am usually do not get under that pressure. It's moreover about the fact that कि मुझे ही ऐसा होता है कि when you're taking up a work, then you have to get it done. It's just that aspect. And with this book, the same thing happened. I was so struggling to read the book. I was trying to understand what should I do while traveling. So I was trying to read this book everywhere, because I knew कि if even I'm while traveling, I am looking here and there. उस वो हिसाब से या वो ही बहाने से सही मैं बुक तो पढ़ लूंगी, वो खत्म हो जाएगा. So it was literally like, so it has never happened with me कि I am reading a book which is, and unless I'm extremely sleepy. Okay, usually अगर मुझे नींद भी नहीं आई है, ये book पक्का मुझे नींद लाएगी. मतलब that has happened with me couple of times when I was not feeling sleepy at all. I just decided, let's pick this book up, and I ended up sleeping within 4 to 5 minutes into the reading. I was like literally snoring. Like I had that much amount of a good sleep. So basically, कैसे तो करके I ended up reading the entire book. And I was like, I can't. I don't know what to even like experience, because after completing the book, I was like, क्या हुआ? क्यों हुआ? कैसे हुआ? I had all of these like useless questions, and I was like, no, yeah, I don't really like this book, and this book I'm not really reading it again. It is not worth my time. I've already wasted my 2 months, 2 or 3, I think 2 2.5 months or something. I've already wasted that much amount of time into this book. I cannot waste next 2 3 months ever in my life into this specific book. I would rather waste my time somewhere else. और कोई चीज ऐसे उठा लूंगी जिसमें मैं करूंगी. I would sit idle only for that matter, but not read this book. So this is definitely not going in my reread list. So I'm now going to talk about the good and bad aspects of the book. So now let's talk about the good aspects about the book. One thing which I felt about the book was the character. Her name is Scarlett, and I liked her character. I enjoyed, and it was barely like every other character from Ali Hazelwood's book. So it was not very different from Ali's other books as well. I could see wahi character description or wahi type of character I could see in this specific book as well. What I liked about it is that I could see there was some sort of emotional growth, emotional development in her character. Bus. End. So there was, as I said, there was an emotional growth in a character, emotional development in a character. I could see her character in general, her personality in general was growing, and I like that. I genuinely like that. With time, how do you deal with certain situations? Uh, it does talk about that how do you deal with certain losses, especially how do you come back from an injury. And usually what happens is a lot of times, especially with athletes, whenever they go through or whenever they have an injury or something, and that in turn also has an effect on their career. So usually what happens is athletes, whenever they face any sort of an injury or an accident or anything, it kind of creates a setback for their career. Okay. And often this entire situation puts them in a very tough spot, specifically mentally, because there is so much of going on in the society. You're trying to deal with the pressure of the society, you're trying to deal with the pressure of your own expectations also. So all of this often happens that it brings that weight, it puts you in that situation where you're overburdened with weight and everything, with that all those thoughts. So then you start getting into negative thoughts and everything. So I think that was the journey which I felt in this book was dealt really beautiful. And that was the aspect of Scarlett's character that I really enjoyed, that how she learned to deal with it with time, how basically someone else, helped her to get through it and try to deal with it. Probably she had closed it up, closed her doors and of her heart, and she didn't want it to open up with anyone. And how with time she actually learned to deal with it and open up to the world, open up to the various possibilities and everything. So I think apart from this was the only good aspect of the book, to be honest. I'm so sorry. I'm a huge Ali Hazelwood fan, and I feel so bad talking in such a way about the book. But that was my experience with this book. The bad aspects. Rest of the things are the bad aspects, guys. So be it a plot, be the characters, be the way the story has been narrated, the presented to you. I think all of those things are really big no-no for me. So definitely this book is going to be a big no-no. I know this book is super popular and a lot of people are going crazy over this book, which I have no idea why. Clearly, मतलब उनकी टेस्ट और मेरी टेस्ट डेफिनेटली मैच नहीं हो रही है, इसके वजह से ये हो रहा है. बट ठीक है, मतलब what can I do? I felt there are far more better books out there that you can actually read and invest your time in. Much better books in the same genre. So Mills and Boons categories books are really nice, especially dealing with the adult fiction. So if you're someone who enjoys reading adult fiction, I think you can give a chance to Middles and Bones. You will enjoy it. After a point of time, reading this big adult fiction becomes a bit of tiresome, at least for me again. So if I ever feel like I want to read an adult fiction book, I think I'll probably end up just like picking up a book from the Mills and Bulls category, which are super small and super tiny, to be honest. So I think those are a good options for you if you guys want to read in that genre. But I would genuinely not recommend reading this book. So that was a video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope my review was really helpful to you guys. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section below, and do like, share and subscribe to my channel. And I'll be posting more book related contents. If you guys have any suggestions for my videos, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to interact with all of you, and see you guys soon.